Okay, for this video, I wanted to show you a real-world example of some of the things that I'm talking about in this Analyzing Visual Language PowerPoint, which is on eCampus. So you want to read this first. You're going to apply these ideas to the homework that's going to happen for Thursday. I just wanted you to see an example of the visual style of this kind of thing happening in an actual film, something I can't really do in a PowerPoint. Okay, so we're going to be talking about primarily this term continuity editing. And what that means, it's basically, this is 95% of everything that you watch on television and film uses this kind of continuity editing approach. And it's basically it's a technique to control the potential disunifying forces of editing by smoothing the flow from shot to shot. Creating an illusion of continuous time and space. So those are a lot of fancy words, but what that really means is, they might take a couple days to shoot one scene in a film, and it's compressing that 2 days of shooting into a 30-second clip that appears as if it's all happening at the same time. It's one continue. They'll shoot all the one person shots, all the other person shots, sew them together with the video editing, and give the illusion that it's all happening at the same time. We're going to look at these 180-degree rules. So this continuity system has several characteristics that it applies. The 180-degree rule, shot, reverse shot, these are the main ones, and we're going to look at how these how we see these in an actual movie. I could have queued up 3,000 different movies. This is just a movie that won an Oscar a couple of years ago called The King's Speech. Don't ask me how I ended up here, but here we go. So what we're going to be looking at, this is a scene where this actress, she is going to visit the speech therapist for the same time. Look at how the directors created it. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you here. Okay, I've paused it. What you're going to often see when people are learning filmmaking, you have to kind of create a kind of comprehensive understanding of space. What is the space that this upcoming dialogue is going to take place in? And that's what this shot does. It establishes the space. So it's often called an establishing shot. And what we're going to do is we're going to see there's a conversation that's going to happen, and it's going to be between two people, and it's really going to start to focus really on their faces. But we'll know that it's kind of taking place in this location. Let's see how it progresses from here. So this is also creating a mood. Think of the mise-en-scène from the earlier in the PowerPoint. That's a term for what we understand from the loo is the bathroom in England. I should almost mute this so we really aren't paying attention to the actual conversation, but instead looking at the edits. See, this is an eyeline match. Did you see how she was looking over, and then we see what she was seeing here. Let's watch that happen again. When she comes over into this part of the space, she's going to turn and look over. Oh, God. There we go. So her eyes are following here. That is one of those eyeline match here in continuity editing, but it's really happening all the time. The 180-degree rule is, let me show you this. What happens is you draw a line between two people having a conversation, and the cameras are always going to be on one side or another of a conversation, and the way that they shoot it is called shot reverse shot, which is this right here. Okay, and we're going to watch this 180-degree rule and shot reverse shot play out in this conversation that's going to happen. And what you usually see is the camera doesn't break over into this other side, because then the people flip-flop. This person would appear over there, and here, and this person over there. Trust me. You'll see what I mean in 1 second. Okay, so here's now we're seeing, now we're set up for a conversation. There's a line that's drawn between these two, and the camera does shot, reverse shot between them as they talk. Sometimes it's capturing the reaction, sometimes it's capturing the dialogue of see that we cut to her action. Do you see this other one? It's so natural. Everything about everything about continuity editing is to not draw attention to the video making process, to the filmmaking process. It's about, pardon me, it's about trying to just get you into what they're talking about and into the film itself, and not paying attention to the fact that you're watching a film, this kind of illusion of reality. And so let's watch this again. Match on action. The match on action that we're going to talk about. Watch the handshake that happens. It's happening here. She doesn't shake his hand. Now she shakes his hand, and he draws his hand back. The action of the handshake is what is cut over, and it's followed through on the next shot. If his hand was already in his pocket, it would have been an awkward, jarring edit. Okay, and so these are all these little kind of elements that editors use. It's a totally different shot, a whole different scene. This might have been done 5 hours prior to that other shot, but it's done so seamlessly we don't even think about it. And so I wanted to draw your attention to these techniques that are being used all the time. And so he cuts across the 180-degree rule. A new one is set up here. Now we do the same thing, shot and then reverse shot over her shoulder. Now we go back to that space here. Do you see how they reestablish that? I'm sorry about this. My computer is going to be chugging a little bit because it's recording and playing the video at the same time. See, in this upcoming shot, they reestablish the space. So just to remind you the space that we're in. So they got a new, here it is there. Okay, so this is once again, it's an establishing shot with them in it. It just reinserts in your mind, oh, they're in this high, this kind of tall, high-ceilinged building with the light is over here. This is where the windows are. That's why the light is on that side of their face. All of these kind of elements. But we also, just from what do you understand from this space just by looking at the scenery? That is all the aspects of what they call the mise-en-scène. So there's the mise-en-scène operating and the editing at the same time. Also, pay attention to how quickly these edits happen. Let's count it off. Let's wait for the 1,000, 2, 1,000. So that wasn't even 2 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Okay, so we have an average about 3 or 4 seconds every edit. Now, check this out. What's happening here? The camera angle, the camera framing went to a close-up on, I forget this actor's name, but, and now it's back to a wide shot, okay? So look at how they create variety here with this close-up. Okay, so this is what they call a medium close-up. It's from the chest up. The other shots we've been looking at are medium shots. These are actually much more rare in Hollywood films. This is an English film, but they're using this American style. Another thing just out of the ordinary about this composition is usually this person would be over here talking, but this filmmaker is kind of setting up. So there's a little bit of a kind of untraditional aspect of this traditional film that's happening, and they're using this very traditional cutting style, but using a kind of framing composition that's a little bit different, but that's just a side point. This is also very different. Usually she would be over here. Okay, and that's the end here. But I wanted to just give you a quick example of continuity editing. We've seen the 180-degree rule here. We saw the shot, reverse shot. It's the everyday way that films are put together. The establishing shot and re-establishing shot, we saw all these. The match on action and the eye-line match. The 30-degree rule, we didn't see any camera setup where they cut from one that's just a little bit, just a little change. It's always this drastic change when they go to the other side of the person with that cut. Let's just kind of look at one last kind of eye-line match. She reveals now that she's the Duchess of York or something like that, and he's looking over in this direction where she is, and she's looking back over here. That's all. If she was looking down, and he was looking down the other way. Their eyes are connecting. They're looking at each other through the eye line, and that's all the eye line match means. Okay, that's the end of the video for today. What I want you to do is to compare this kind of everyday way of approaching the filmmaking style to the videos you're going to watch on eCampus of Abbas Kiarostami. What is different from the continuity editing approach that he takes, and why does he do this? And what I want you to see is that filmmakers make these choices for particular reasons, and how the film language that's being used, and everything I say about film is actually television as well, is applied to how that creates a particular way of seeing. Okay, so keep that in mind, and this is our thing that we're gonna, when we're analyzing, we're gonna be comparing this. You could compare the King's Speech to The Wind Will Carry Us, the Abbas Kiarostami film.